What's up, guys? What of course you'll be seeing today is a breakdown and review of the exotic fusion rifle in Destiny called Queenbreakers Bow. It's officially listed as a fusion rifle, despite the fact that it's sort of a hybrid fusion and sniper rifle combination. To get the weapon, you'll have to go through you have to undergo a multi-step process before you're awarded it, and I'll break down these and review the weapon in this video. The first step, of course, to getting this weapon is to beat the level 35 version of the Prison of Elders, specifically the final boss, Skullus. When you do, he may or may not, because there's no guarantee of getting it, drop an Elder Cipher, which is the bounty needed to get this weapon. If you do get it, return to Varix and he'll present you with 3 weapons to choose from, with the Queenbreakers Bow being one of them. At this point, you're not choosing the weapons. Varix is just giving you an overview, so you can click right through this without concern of needing to pick the Queenbreakers Bow. The next step after this is to acquire a Queen Cipher from one of the Queen's chests in the 32, 34, or 35 version of the Prison of Elders, and you'll need to have a treasure key to open the large chest at the end of your run. When you open that large chest at the end in either the 32, 34, or 35 run, you'll get your Queen Cipher. The next step after that, of course, is to bring this to Varix, and he'll make you wait a few days or a few hours for the next step of your bounty to be complete. There's no way to tell, so periodically check in the reef to see if there's the green exclamation point icon to see if your bounty's ready. The next step, of course, of the bounty and the last step is to get 1,000 points accumulating between killing bosses in the Prison of Elders. Mini bosses in the 28 version are worth 75, final bosses too. The 32 version bosses are worth 200 points, 34 bosses are worth 350, and the final boss, Skullus, is worth 450 in the 35. If you're starting your week fresh, beating the 32, 34, and 35 together in one run will give you your 1,000 points, and it's the easiest way. But if, say, you get it midweek or after you've already done that run with the character, easiest way I found to do it is to rerun the 34 3 times if you're not willing to wait for the next refresh, because that will give you 1,050 points, so well more than enough to get the last bounty. So there you go, you got your weapon. Now it's time to review it. Though it's listed as a fusion rifle, it feels much more like a sniper rifle with a charge time to it, but it doesn't feel quite as effective as a sniper rifle. More to that, it doesn't really feel as effective as a fusion rifle in shorter range either, so it has a very middleman feel to this weapon. Statistically speaking, the gun starts with the max damage of 365. The charge rate's 222%, with an impact rating of 22 as well, a range of 60, stability of 30, reload percentage of 65, and a magazine size of 6. Each shot requires a charge up time for each shot, which is about a second in length, and it also has a very high aim assist ratio, or percentage, at 80%. So, and that's even before the hidden hand perk, which I'll talk about, comes into play. So there's quite a bit of aim assist associated with this weapon, for good or for bad. In terms of PvP damage output, it hits for 152 on body shots and 228 on headshots. So statistically speaking, it'll be a 2-shot body shot, but a 1-shot headshot. With regard to the skill tree, all Queenbreakers bows are the same because they're exotics and they all deal arc damage. You have 2 options in terms of the scopes, which is interesting, because the scope that you choose emphasizes where you should position yourself in terms of range. The first is called the Marksman Sight, which is listed as a longer sight, which has a slower charge time and reload speed, but it increases the impact per shot or damage it outputs. Obviously, this is suited for longer range combat and emphasizes its role as a sniper rifle. The second scope, which is called Combat Sights, actually increases the charge rate and reload speed, but at the expense of some damage per shot, so the impact's a bit lower. The logical suggestion would be to pick Marksman Scope if you plan on sniping, and a Combat Scope for basically anything else. And if you go that route, it's fine, but I would personally suggest going with the Combat Scope full time, because this weapon's a weapon you'll be using in medium range, like I said, short to medium range. As a sniper, because it has travel time, you'll need to account for movement of your enemy, the timing of the charge, and other idiosyncrasies that using other sniper rifles won't. Additionally, the Combat Scope does not give out a glint. The Marksman Sight does. So that's a big bonus of not tipping off your position, considering that if you don't hit a headshot, you're going to need 2 shots. It isn't a sniper rifle replacement at longer range, nor is it a fusion rifle replacement at shorter range. And I'll explain this more in a minute. When breaking down the skill tree, the first perk is called Hip Fire, which adds bonus accuracy when firing from the hip, and believe me, you will be utilizing this quite a bit if you want to be effective with this weapon. The next 3 perks which you'll have a choice over are Single Point Sling, which allows you to switch weapons faster and move quicker while aiming, which will save your life on some shots. Flared Magwell, which allows for faster reload speeds, which I wouldn't use for this weapon. And Send It, which increases range and accuracy. And personally, I think this one's pretty clear-cut. The choice is Send It. A buff to range and accuracy, even if you're not actually shooting this as a sniper rifle, it won't hurt you at all, of course. The last perk's called Hidden Hand. As the description says, it grants better target acquisition, which will buff the aim assist. Some may like this and others will hate it. It depends on how much you rely on aim assist. If you're the type that likes to really aim your shots and take your time, you probably won't like it as much. But if you're a more quick twitch, faster paced player, you may like it. It's, again, comes down to your preference on aim assist. With regard to my overall impressions in PvE, it's a blast to use. If you prioritize fun factor over a min-max and best possible weapon for the best possible scenario, this weapon's for you. It should one-shot any non-major enemies, excluding maybe 34 and 35 level content landing a headshot. But it absolutely will take more than 2 headshots for the major enemies, even not including the 34 and 35 content. So it's a very select situation weapon. It does not make for a viable choice in endgame content, especially because it's using up a more valuable exotic slot for something else. In terms of PvP, in terms of the pros of the weapon, it's a one-shot headshot, of course, 2-shot body shot. It has a very large amount of ammo to start with to counter the constant need to try and replenish special ammo. It's an extremely high aim assist weapon, meaning headshots are easier to hit if you can manage the aim assist. And it's extremely fun using this weapon in the Crucible. It really is. It truly is. If you stay in medium range, control, if you have cover, if you control the range and you administer headshots while monitoring your range, you can have success and you'll be having a lot of fun. But I personally would not use this over a sniper rifle at range, and I probably wouldn't use it over a shotgun in close range to replace a fusion rifle either. So like I said, it's a middleman weapon. So overall, if you enjoy like the fun factor versus max utility, this weapon you'll have a blast with. It can be effective more so in PvP, I'd say, than PvE, but you're definitely going to have to monitor your range. You're definitely going to have to be situationally aware. You're going to be pummeled by snipers at longer range and shotguns at closer range. But if you stick in this medium range goal or medium range area, you can have success regardless. So that's the review. Have a good one.